Hey guys, welcome to 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝑮𝑳. Today we need a video called Fusion Fever featuring our Lugia VSTAR with Deoxys combo, helping us attach any energy from the deck using our Archeops. Primal Turbo allows you to search your deck for any special energy, any 2 copy of special energies, and attach it to one of your Pokemon every single turn for each copy that you have in play. So with our Summoning Star, we actually get to summon 2 copies of Archeops directly onto our bench from the discard pile, and all we need to do is discard our Archeops early to use Summoning Star as fast as possible, and then we actually get to satisfy the attack cost for us to play Photon Boost or even Super Strong Slash with Deoxys. So Deoxys is a pure strike card. If you guys don't already know, it is actually not just a fusion strike Pokemon but also a single strike and a rapid strike as well, and that means you get to attach all of those energies onto that Pokemon. You get to attach not just your rapid strike, single strike, fusion strike, you also get to attach your impact and spiral, which are all rainbow by the way, which actually allows you to satisfy the attack cost, the metal attack cost, for you to play Super Strong Slash with this interesting single strike Scroll the Fang Dragon card that nobody uses, which is actually quite crazy because it's doing 300 damage. Discarding all energy from this Pokemon though, you do have to search for the tool card and you do have to discard all energies from Deoxys, and there is no item card at the moment that allows you to shuffle back recycle your special energies, which is quite dangerous because you are discarding 5 energies, 4 energies if you have your double energy, and we are actually intending on using the Rapid Strike or the Double Turbo to satisfy the double colorless cost. If we play our Double Turbo, we can actually still knock out a V-Star or an EX, Stage 1 EX with our Single Strike energy, since we are cancelling out the damage reduction with our Single Strike effect. And we also have our Rapid Strike as well. If we hit against a VMAX, we got our Single Strike for extra damage, doing 320 or even 340 damage to kill off a VMAX with 1 hit instantly against Reggie-Lackey VMAX, especially Mew VMAX, which is a big thing in standard right now. Reggie-Lackey, we can actually kill it off with just 1 single strike and 1 rapid strike energy attached to our Deoxys. And to make things a little bit more spicy, with our Rapid Strike Zeraora to do Cross Fist, hitting 160 extra damage to the bench, plus 100 to their active, if we attacked with one of our other Rapid Strike Pokemon on our previous turn. And since Deoxys is considered a Rapid Strike Pokemon, we actually get to play Photon Boost or Super Strong Slash and then Cross Fist to hit for extra damage on the bench, which is crazy because all we need is 160 more damage on one of their bench Pokemon with a boss to finish them off with Photon Boost, knocking out a VMAX or a V-Star with 1 hit after playing our Cross Fist. So Cross Fist is going to help you get extra damage in a game, and all we need is 3 energies on Zera to do a total of 260 damage, collective damage on their Pokemon, and we actually get to play Photon Boost with our Deoxys for the knockout. And it's actually better to play Photon Boost first before doing your Cross Fist. That way you actually get to bench your Zeraora while attacking with Deoxys, keeping your energy on the Deoxys, pressuring them to knock out the active Pokemon. If they don't kill your Deoxys, all you need is 2 Spiral or 1 Impact and 1 Fusion Strike to satisfy the attack cost for Super Strong Slash on the next turn by attaching another 2 energies from the deck, because we already have a Rapid Strike or a Double Turbo with that Fusion Strike energy attached to satisfy our attack cost. All we need is 1 more Single Strike and 1 more Impact or Spiral energy on our Deoxys to satisfy our Super Strong Slash attack cost for a big knockout right after playing Photon Boost. So if they kill our Deoxys though, we actually get to play Cross Fist, and that actually is still a big plus because we are getting 260 damage in a game for only 3 energies, and we actually get to finish off their active EX or V with another Photon Boost after hitting only 100 damage in the active against a Miraidon, for example. We get to kill off their active Miraidon or Raikou V in the active for another Photon Boost with the second Deoxys, and that actually pressures them again to kill off the Deoxys a second time. If they don't, we actually get to search for another 2 energies to play another Super Strong Slash for another big knockout. If they do kill off the Deoxys though, all we need is 5 more energies on the next turn to collect the final 2 prize by killing off another EX or a V with Super Strong Slash, and that is a total of 9 energies for double Photon Boost and 1 Cross Fist, plus 5 more for 1 Super Strong Slash. So 9 plus 5 is actually the wrong number because we are playing our Rapid Strike energy to satisfy the double colorless cost, and that means we need up to only 6 energies for our first 3 attacks, and we may need 5 more though for our final Super Strong Slash, just because we may not have any more Rapid Strike energy or Double Turbo to attach to our Deoxys. We may have a few prize, and that means we may need to attach 4 energies from the deck with Primal Turbo and another one from our hand to satisfy the 5 energy for us to do Super Strong Slash slash for a big knockout at the last minute. So a total of 11 energies is actually more than enough, since we are playing 16 copies of our special energy with our double energy as well, and that means we just need a total of 11 energies to play our super kill strategy using double photon boost with our cross fist for double knockout, using a bench snipe strategy, and also hitting 160 plus 20 more if you have single strike energy attached to your Deoxys. If you play photon boost with a single strike, for example, attaching a fusion strike with single strike and another impact or something else, you actually get to play photon boost for 180 damage, killing off a V-Star after doing your cross fist in the active. Be careful not to waste too many of our rainbow energies though, just because we are only playing a total of 8 copies of our Fusion, Impact, and Spiral, and we actually need 2 of them to satisfy our metal cost for us to play Super Strong Slash with our Squirrel the Fanged Dragon. Since our Single Strike and Rapid Strike energy does not serve as metal, we actually need those rainbows. But keep in mind though that you do need your Fusion Strike energy attached to your Deoxys to be able to play Photon Boost for the extra damage, hitting 160 damage for this attack for 3 colorless. On to our draw spot, we're playing 1 Radiant Venusaur to help us draw cards until we have 4 cards in our hand at the end of our turn, 1 Lumineon V to help us search for our supporter cards, either our Professor Burnet to discard our Archeops early so we get to play Summoning Star fast, or our Serena Zinnia to discard Archeops from our hand. If we already have it in our hand with our Capturing Aroma or Mesagoza, we get to search for Evolution as well. We can also search for our Ultra Ball with Arven to discard Archeops from our hand as well. Arven helps us search for our VIP, Nest Ball, or Heavy Ball so that we get to set up our bench early to bench our Deoxys and also Venusaur, Lugia as fast as possible so that we get to evolve and play Summoning Star while also getting our draw support on our bench early. Getting Deoxys early is also actually essential so that we get to attach energy from our hand from the get-go. If we don't attach energy from our hand every single turn, we may not have enough Archeops to play Primal Turbo if they do a boss to knock it out. So they may actually knock out Archeops from the bench by doing a boss at some point in the game, and then you would have only one last Primal Turbo to search your deck for only 2 special energy, and that may not be enough for you to play your Super Strong Slash later on in the game. So you can also think about adding Elisa Sparkle in your deck to satisfy the attack cost for you to play Super Strong Slash in a single turn after playing only 1 Primal Turbo to search your deck for 1 Rapid Strike energy and 1 Single Strike. For example, if you have a Spiral in your hand, you can Elisa for a Fusion Strike to satisfy the double metal energy cost, and then search your deck with Primal Turbo to attach essentially 3 energy using a Rapid Strike to substitute for the double colorless. So sometimes all you need is 1 Primal Turbo for you to get through the game if you're smart enough or if you're fast enough to bench your Deoxys early so that you get to attach an energy from your hand from the get-go, accumulating those energies as the time goes by. It's also going to help if you play it smart and use Photon Boost at the right time to conserve your energy. Next, for our stadium, we're playing 3 Mesagoza with 1 worker to discard Temple of Sinnoh from play. If they use that stadium, we can't actually use our special energy to substitute for the rainbow cost or even our spiral to satisfy our cross fist to attack with this Pokemon. Finally, we also have 1 Boss's Order for the sharp power play and 2 Escape Rope for the switch. So that's all for the deck list. Now let's go for some gameplay and see how well this deck works. Okay, let's go for our first game versus Lugia VSTAR with Gyarados. So they're playing Mirage Gate Lost Box with Gyarados EX with the V-Star Power Contingency to attach the energies. So if they don't get to play Star Portal early, they can still... if they don't get to play the Mirage Gate early, they got the V-Star Power to charge up their first Gyarados. And Tyrannical Tail is only doing... extra damage though. It's only doing 360 if you have damage counter on opponent's active Pokemon. So they got Cramorant to do early damage with Spit Innocently, and then they can actually play Radiant Alakazam if they're smart to spread those damage counters onto the other Pokemons on the bench that they want to target. They can actually keep playing Radiant Alakazam's ability to kind of transfer from the Pokemon that got damaged by Cramorant onto the active if they retreat to the bench. Obviously, if they want to kill off the active, if the active Pokemon already has 11 damage counters on it, if your opponent chooses not to switch, if their opponent chooses not to retreat, they can actually transfer to the bench before knocking out the active. They should be doing that because that actually sets up for the next knockout. They're actually playing Hawlucha as well. So Flying Entry, a very obvious combo with Gyarados. Using Hawlucha's ability to place 1 damage counter on 2 of our opponent's bench Pokemon. you know, before setting up for 360 damage using Tyrannical Tail. Lugia VSTAR can actually attack as well. So it's actually a turbo attacker since it only needs 1 Melanie. And if you evolve fast, all you need to do is get enough bench Pokemons in play. You could even do, you know, your Echoing Horn with Sableye. So Lugia VSTAR, Lost Box though, I don't think it's that consistent because you need the V-Star, which is an evolution. You also need the EX, which is another evolution. And I feel like with Mirage Gate Lost Box, you're not allowed to play evolutions. I tried Lost Box with Hisuian Typhlosion V-Star, is not really that consistent. And for that deck, we had nothing but one single V-Star. We had nothing but the single V-Star attacker, and it's still not that consistent. So not only do they need double evolution in addition to the Lost Box supports, they also need enough energies in the deck to satisfy Gyarados EX's attack cost. They need more than the normal amount of energies just because Gyarados needs 5 energy. And if they don't have enough in the deck to play Mirage Gate, if they don't play enough Mirage Gate as well in the deck, they may not be able to pull it off. They may not be able to attach enough energy using Tyrannical Tail. So they need actually 4 copies, a solid 4 copy of Mirage Gate. Normally, Lost Box either play 3 or 4 copies. To be safe, they usually do 4, but sometimes it's actually, you can actually play 3 copies if you want to make the deck a lot more consistent, if you want to lost cards earlier. But for this deck, I feel like they have no choice but to go for 4 copies. I don't think it's that consistent, honestly. Because if you're losting energies as well, you need to recycle them. You need your recycler, your water, and a different type of energy as well. I mean, it's just crazy. Double Mirage Gate is not even worth it, I feel like. It's honestly just not worth it. I played Blastoise VMAX with Gyarados, and at least Blastoise is doing damage while charging up the energy on the bench. So Blastoise has the Grand False attack doing 120 to the active, while searching a deck for 3 water energy and attach it to your bench in any way you like. So you get to search a deck for 3 water and attach it to your bench Magikarp or Gyarados, preparing it for Tyrannical Tail on the next turn. But the bad thing is Blastoise is a VMAX though. So if they knock out a VMAX with a Miraidon, Miraidon is a big thing now, I know. So if they kill Blastoise with a Miraidon, they got 3 prize, and then how are you gonna counter that? We got Lugia VSTAR for that deck as well. So we got Lugia, Blastoise, and Gyarados for a triple Unity Water combo, which is, I feel, not too bad. A lot better than Lost Box, definitely. Good thing about Lost Box though is that it has 1 price counters. They have Cramorant, Sableye to counter 1 price decks. Not really a solid counter though because Lost Mine isn't really placing enough damage counters. But against Lunatone Solrock, I feel like without Scoop Up Net, it's actually, you know, it's a lot better now that Standard has no more nets. And they can eventually get an extra prize against Lunatone Solrock. All they need to do is not play their V cards, which would be kind of difficult though. If they played a V-Star, if they evolve the EX fast enough, they could actually, they don't need to worry about Magikarp though. If they knock out the Magikarp, they got, your opponent only gets 1 prize. And all you need to do is counter that turn by drawing an extra prize. If they knock out the Gyarados with 1 hit though, they get 2 prize, and it's not actually that easy. They need 300 damage to kill Gyarados in 1 hit. They need 280 damage to kill Lugia VSTAR with 1 hit, and I don't think Lunatone Solrock can actually achieve that high without the net. Anyways, here comes our Zeraora V doing Cross Fist for an extra prize because they have no Manaphy on the bench, and we're just gonna snipe right now while we can. You have to do it early though. If you don't play Cross Fist while they have no Manaphy, then you don't get the bench snipe, right? They can just bench the Manaphy on the next turn, so while you have the chance, make sure you do it. Do not miss the chance. Bad thing is we have only double turbo for the retreat costs and Escape Rope, but if we can pull off a surprise Cross Fist though, If we can bench it at the last minute and do an escape rope, we can actually play Crossface for a surprise bench snipe. Because they may not be expecting Zera, since we have our Deoxys. It may not be on their radar. So that's the power of Crossface, doing 260 total damage for one rapid strike and one spiral. Since we are attaching special energies and Aurora is no longer in standard, Luminous doesn't work because Lugia VSTAR and Luminous is a bad combo with Archeops only attaching special energies. So the new rainbow card, the new rainbow energy for Scarlet and Violet is Luminous Energy. If you guys don't already know, for Paldea Evolve we have Luminous, which actually serves as a rainbow, but only if you have no other special energy attached to that Pokemon. If you have any other special energy attached to the same Pokemon with Luminous Energy attached, then you're not actually, that energy only serves as one colorless. It no longer serves as a rainbow energy, it loses its rainbow effect. So that's the bad thing about Luminous, is actually kind of the same as Double Turbo. They are kind of making it a lot more difficult, right? Is a very interesting mechanic, because they're actually making they're kind of deleting rainbow from the game almost, right? So deleting Double Turbo for Sword and Shield, we had Twin Energy though, that only works for non V cards, so you can't actually attach Twin Energy for the double colorless effect onto your V cards. Same goes for your Luminous, you can't attach it onto your if you can't play any other special energy onto the same Pokemon with Luminous Energy attached if you want to have the rainbow effect activated. If you want to have the rainbow energy with Luminous, you're not allowed to play Double Turbo with it, you're not allowed to play Gift Energy, Lucky Energy with it, you're not allowed to play any other Single Strike, whatever energy, what have you, with that special energy. Which is kind of a bit annoying, but it's, you know, I like the challenge because it's quite interesting. It makes the game a bit different. It kind of shifts the dimension of the game and, you know, puts you in a different spot. You're not actually playing the same game anymore. It's almost like the setting is now changed completely. And I kind of enjoy that. It's like they are putting up a new landscape for PTCG and saying like rainbow is no longer allowed. What are you gonna do about that? How are you gonna adapt to that? We have reversal obviously for the triple rainbow effect for one price evolutions. It only works on non-rule box Pokemon. You only get to attach it to your evolution cards, and it only works as triple rainbow if you have more price remaining than your opponent, and that's a lot of restrictions, right? We don't really want that much conditions for a special energy. It doesn't work if you have less price remaining than your opponent. It doesn't work if you have the same price as your opponent. It doesn't work if you attach it to your basic Pokemon. It doesn't work if you attach it to your rule box Pokemon. And I mean, that's kind of pretty bad, if you ask me. But if you can somehow find a way to make it work, it would be super fun to play reversal energy. But I'm not liking the hyper conditions. I mean, it's kind of a big hassle. It's definitely giving a special edge to one price evolution decks. You know, one price stage 1, stage 2 decks that need a lot of energies. It kind of opens up a lot of doors for one price decks, especially those that you don't normally see play for standard. So that would be quite interesting to watch. How the game would develop with reversal and how the game would change without the rainbow. Obviously, if you play basic energy with Luminous, it still works. Cherrim with Luminous, Flaffy or some other Scarlet and Violet, any other new cards that attaches basic energy from your hand, in addition to the Luminous, actually works for your rainbow effect. But you only get to attach one rainbow energy, one Luminous at a time onto a single Pokemon. I'm not actually too sure though. If you have two Luminous on the same Pokemon, do they actually act as colorless or do they actually act as rainbow? Like, what's gonna happen if you have two Luminous energy attached to the same Pokemon? Because it specifically says if it has any other special energy. What does any other mean? If it has any other, it should mean like, any other different type of special energy. If it has another Luminous energy, which is another, not any other, special energy attached, will that still cancel out the rainbow effect? I'm not sure about Luminous, honestly. The text is not really that specific. They haven't translated it yet though. They haven't, like, it's not really out yet, so they could actually put a more specific text for the actual Paldea Evolve set. So we don't really know yet. I'm quite excited to see what's gonna happen. Anyways, we won against Gyarados with Palkia, and now we're gonna move on to the next game. We're up against Miraidon now, the king of standard. Turbo Miraidon doing Lightning Rondo, or what's the attack called again? I'm not too sure. Miraidon can do 220 damage for 2 lightning and 1 colorless, so they can hit big damage first turn going second, or on their second turn going first, with the electric generator attaching mad energy on the first turn. And they got Beach Court to retreat as well, since the generator only allows you to attach to your bench. So they actually do have to retreat after getting the energy, much like Flaffy. Nothing different. They have Tandem Unit, which is an ability instead of a Stadium, to basically bench their lightning Pokemons from the deck, which is a lot more cooler if you ask me. With Beach Court, they get to remove Path to the Peak as well. So 𝑷𝑗𝐿𝐴𝐾 VMAX, all we need to do is target the VMAX for 3 prize, and then we could do Crossfist for an extra prize at some point. But if they don't evolve though, that would be a big problem. If they are smart enough, if they know what we're playing, if they know how Super Strong Slash works, and since we're playing Lugia VSTAR, we can search for any energy from the deck. If they know our strategy, they would not be evolving the 𝑷𝑗𝐿𝐴𝐾, because there's no point. They don't actually need the 𝑷𝑗𝐿𝐴𝐾 VMAX, because they don't need the extra damage. Against Lugia VSTAR, they're hitting for the weakness. Against Lumineon, they're hitting for the weakness as well. They don't actually need that much damage to kill our Pokemons. So Zeraora has only 210 HP, and Miraidon is enough. They just need Miraidon to finish it off. They don't need the 𝑷𝑗𝐿𝐴𝐾 VMAX in play, not even a single copy. And we have no Dunsparce, so Lugia VSTAR is off. Lugia VSTAR is done for. If they do a boss on it, all they need to do is boss it at the right time and finish it off for 2 prize. It's all down to how many Lumineons are we going to be forced to play, and are they going to be able to pull off the boss enough times at the right time to draw the right prizes. If we can somehow do Super Strong Slash early, that's why I say discarding Archeops is so important, and we need 2 Burnets in this deck. I feel like Burnet is the best way to go. If you play 4 copies of your Archeops with Ultra Balls, I feel like it's still a lot more difficult. I tested it. If you play 2 Burnet with Lumineon, it's a lot easier than having more copies of your Ultra Ball and Archeops. And if we have the Archeops in our hand, we don't need the Ultra Ball. We got Serena or Zinnia to discard as well. So we got Ultra Ball for this game, and we're actually forced to get the basic Lugia. So we got Mesagoza though to dig for the evolution on the next turn if they don't play their Beach Court, but they're probably going to. All we can hope for is to play the Serena. We should have done Lumineon. So I feel like we did a misplay here again, way too early. So we could have done Lumineon for Arven and search for a VIP with Arven to bench the Venusaur and draw cards with it as well, in addition to the Lugia. We could get... Okay, we actually did play our Arven though. That's interesting. We got the Lugia VSTAR, and now we're actually going to play the Arven. Okay. So if they play a Judge though, we got our VSTAR shuffled back. But I feel like it's a lot safer because they're definitely going to play the Beach Court. They're definitely going to finish off the Deoxys on the first turn. They have enough energies already, which is crazy. They can't attack yet, but they got enough energies on the Raikou. Just sitting there waiting to pounce. Here comes the VIP. We got only 1 copy for this deck. Normally I play 4 copies, but for Lugia, I don't think it's really that useful. You just need like 1 or 2 bench, honestly, in addition to the Lugia on the first turn. Since we don't need that much draw support, we can't really bench that many Pokemons. We need we need an extra empty spot for Lumineon as well, and possibly a Zera in addition to the Archeops. So we need 2 spots for Archeops, and that's gonna reduce our spaces for Bibarel draw supports, and that's the reason we're playing only 1 Venusaur with a Lumineon. I honestly feel like 2 Lumineon is a lot safer, but we have our Aroma to get Archeops into our hand. If we don't get the Burnet, if we don't get If we have our Lumineon prize, we'd still have our Hisuian heavy ball to get it from the prize. Or if we can't play the heavy ball at the right time, because if we do Arven, if we got Arven instead of the heavy ball, we can still search for the heavy ball, but we can't play Burnet on the same turn after playing Luminesign with Arven, which is kind of annoying. But if we don't have that though, we have our Zinnia, as we said, with Serena to discard our Archeops from our hand by searching for it using our Aroma or Mesagoza. So we still have our failsafe to search for Archeops into our hand. We got Ultra Ball to search for it. We got Capturing Aroma and Mesagoza as well to get it into our hand and discard it with our item Ultra Ball or even our supporter Zinnia. We got a total of 5 copies of ways to discard our hand, in addition to our double turbo for Read the Wind. So the only way we can use Lugia VSTAR's attack is with double turbo energy, since we have nothing else but single rapid and fusion strike energies inside the deck. Lugia VSTAR doesn't actually get to attack unless if we have both the double turbo in the deck attached to it. If we want to play Read the Wind, we actually have to play double turbo just to draw 3 cards. And I feel like sometimes you still have to do it, but I don't think it's that easy because we only are playing 2 copies of our double turbo, and we would not be able to get that easily into our hand on the first few turns, I don't think. If we have our Spiral, we can't use Lugia's attack. We can't draw cards with Lugia, obviously. So it's a little bit more difficult to make the deck consistent playing a full-on strike deck. With Tyranitar, you got your gift energy, you got your double turbo, you got your lucky energy for Lugia VSTAR to attack as well. For this deck though, we have nothing but those specific energies that works only on Deoxys or our Zeraora. So it's a lot more risky because we have no proper draw engine, but I feel like the trade-off is very worth it. It's very much worth it because we are actually allowed to use super strong slash for insane knockout, crazy damage for a 1 price card. I mean, this is just madness. We got more damage than Tyranitar with less single strike energy attached to our Deoxys. All we need to do is attach that tool card. We just need to dig for the tool card, and we are playing 4 copies of it in this deck. We can actually play Super Strong Slash twice in a row using our double Archeops to get enough energies on the same Deoxys or another one. If they do a boss on the Archeops though, we need Elisa, and that's the reason on the first game we actually have that. If you saw on the first turn against the Lugia VSTAR just now, we got our Elisa Sparkle in our hand. But for now, I feel like we don't need it. I don't think Elisa Sparkle is going to make the deck consistent enough, because we would actually get... it would be a lot more difficult to draw out the right cards at the right time, and we need cards like Zinnia to draw for the draw support, because Venusaur and Lumineon is honestly not enough. Because we have no gift energy. Gift energy is kind of a draw support as well for Tyranitar. They have no Bibarel, but they got at least the failsafe gift energy with like enough research and judge to draw out the right cards as well. We have no research for this deck. We have no judge. The reason being, we are discarding energy with our attack. We are discarding each time we use Super Strong Slash. We are discarding all energies attached to Deoxys for a full-on massive knockout, right? So discarding all energies means we can't afford to discard any more from the deck or from our hand, and that's why we have no research in the deck. For Serena and Zinnia, you get to choose what to discard from your hand, and that's a lot safer than your research. Okay, here comes Crossfist. So we actually knocked out the VMAX. I'm not sure why they evolved it. They honestly just don't need it at all for this game. They got the weakness advantage, we got no Dunsparce. I have no idea why they played the VMAX. Because the Forest Seal Stone actually works on the V as well, the basic. There's no reason for them to be getting that many VMAX in play. I feel like if they don't evolve though, we could play a Judge, and we have a Judge in the deck. So if we play a Judge at some point in the game, they may have, nothing in their hand but the evolution. So they are kind of forced to either discard the VMAX from their hand. If they don't have an Ultra Ball, they're forced to evolve it just to empty their hand so that they don't get back the same cards. They are playing Judge for their deck as well, so if they shuffle back the VMAX into the deck, they may just draw it back out. I feel like they don't have a choice but to evolve. I'm not too sure though, because they still have the Radiant Greninja for the draw support and the research. Raikou is only drawing one card, but Radiant Greninja is kind of a smart way to get your Miraidon going, because Miraidon, the main block for Miraidon is the draw support. You have no Bibarel on the bench, you have no speed energy, you can't actually draw cards into your hand, and you can't search for the right cards. You got only one free search with your Forest Seal Stone, but that's it. I don't think it's enough. And that's why they need Radiant Greninja. Not many people play it though. Not many people do Radiant Greninja for Miraidon deck because they want full on, like a full electric box, which I don't think is that smart. You gotta adapt, you know. You gotta adapt and find new ways of playing the game that actually works a lot better. If you can find new combos, if you can explore the game, you know, constantly, if you constantly find new ways to play the game, you may stumble on some, you know, special advantage that only you as the player can find in the game that no one else have. So that's the reason I love exploring different ways of using different combos, mashing different ideas together and making it work. For this one, we have our Fusion Strike Deoxys using Rapid Strike Energy and Single Strike for super strong slash. We also have our Impact and Spiral to substitute for the Metal Energy cost, which is really kind of super fun to play, to be honest. I've never had more fun with Lugia VSTAR than ever using Deoxys. And here comes the knockout against Lugia. So they're drawing 2 prizes, but we have 2 prizes remaining. All we need to do is boss up the Raikou. Oh, we got Serena. We don't have the boss, but we have the Serena, so we got the finishing blow right here. I don't think we have the tool card though, but we have Photon Boost. Photon Boost hitting 180 damage with the single strike energy. So we got 2 single strike energy. Oh, only 1 single strike energy, my bad. But we actually get to search for more. We get to attach more single strikes with our second Archeops if we want to. And we are actually hitting for 200 damage if we attach the second one. There we go. We are playing 3 copies of single strike for this deck, and we may actually have used 1 or 2 for super strong slash. So you may not be able to hit more than 180 damage or even 160 with your Photon Boost. But for this game, fortunately, we're actually able to hit for knockout even if they heal all damage from the first Raikou. So just to be safe, we're just gonna boss up the first Raikou using Serena and knock it out with 200 damage, just because I'm not actually too confident if they have any damage reductions or HP boost in the game. You never know, honestly, because one of our previous videos, we actually lost to a Mew VMAX at the last minute because we forgot to take into account 𝑑𝑗𝑗𝑘𝒄𝒄𝒄. How stupid is that? We forgot that Medicham is not doing a knockout against Meloetta because they not only have 𝑑𝑗𝑗𝑘𝒄𝒄 for the damage reduction, they are also resistant to fighting types. So we, what's it called again? Smash Uppercut is only doing 100 base damage. It's ignoring all weakness on your opponent's active Pokemon, but it's not ignoring resistance. And that means it's only doing 70 damage on the Meloetta. And I think we had 2 damage counters because we are playing a spread deck. We had 2 damage counters on the Meloetta, so we could have knocked it out if we only have the reduction from the resistance, but they actually have 𝑑𝑗𝑗𝑘𝒄𝒄 in play as well. So we're only doing 50 damage with Smash Uppercut using Medicham. Sorry for the sidetrack here, but we couldn't win that game just because we forgot to take into account the damage reduction. So always be smart and don't underestimate your opponent. Don't forget to take everything into account. Be very careful every single turn. Every turn in the game is super important. Every tiny decision counts. If you're not smart enough, you're just gonna fail. But you're gonna learn from your experience though. You're gonna learn a lot from your experience, and you're not gonna make the same mistakes ever again. Okay, so now we're up against a Giratina V-STAR, Lost Box. I kind of hate Lost Box, honestly. Sableye is my all-time... I hate Sableye so much, I honestly want someone to ban it. Someone just kind of just find a way to destroy that card. I don't like Sableye. Why isn't there any way to prevent effects of attacks? Espeon VMAX is the only way for standard right now, and it's just not good. We have our Poncho and Sun and Moon Badge. Sun and Moon Badge to prevent the boss with our Espeon VMAX, but it only works if you have energy attached to your Pokemon though. If you have no energy attached to your Pokemon, you can't avoid Sableye's spread damage, right? If you actually have to attach energy onto all of your Pokemons in play, including your fucking Bibarels and Greninja, like how are you gonna have enough time to attach energy to every single one of your Pokemon, including the Espeon VMAX? It doesn't make any sense. Why would you spend so much time attaching energies when you have to focus on attacking, when you have to focus on your active, when you have to focus on staying alive? You don't really have the time to satisfy the conditions for you to play that ability. Like, why is it so difficult to prevent effects of attacks? I hate fucking Sableye. Someone please make it stop. Ah! I'm sorry, I just can't stand it. I can't stand it. 12 damage counters, and they just need a couple turns to get so many prizes, so many extra prizes. If you play like Dunsparce on your bench, if you have like, you know, Manaphy or something like that, or even a one price basic, if you play a one price evolution deck, and if you bench it too late, they got an extra prize easy in the game, and you can't actually play one prize anymore. You're not allowed to play one prize evolution decks against a goddamn fucking Sableye. And they have the bloody Echoing Horn as well to basically force us to put back any basic Pokemon of their choice onto our bench from the discard pile. And they get to choose like a Bidoof, for example, and then get extra prizes with Lost Mine again. The only advantage, the only plus side is that it's only 12 damage counters. If we play a high enough HP basic for an evolution deck, like, you know, so Titan, for example, my previous deck, Citadel has 80 HP, or any other card with 70 HP, for example, they're not actually allowed to play Lost Mine for an extra prize that early, but eventually, though, they got an extra prize. If you don't evolve it fast enough, eventually they're gonna get extra prizes with nothing but a goddamn Sableye. They're gonna win the game with nothing else in their deck but a Sableye. Can you believe that? Can anyone believe that? Nothing but a Sableye. How, like, why is that allowed? How should that be allowed? That's not supposed to be legal. Like, what the fuck? So they're gonna play Colress now, and they're trying to lose enough cards for Mirage Gate. Here comes the Giratina. I'm not sure if they're expecting the super strong slash, but it would be quite fun to finish off the V-STAR with our first Deoxys. We should be playing Photon Boost and then Cross Fist at some point in the game, because that could earn us an extra prize. Oh, but they got Manaphy though. So for this game, they have Manaphy for the Lost Box, and we're not actually allowed to play Cross Fist for the extra prize against a Greninja, against another Comfey. Sadly. So always count your prizes. If you're smart enough with the prize count, you can actually win the game by cheating and, you know, using Super Strong Slash and Cross Fist at the right time. And you don't really need that much energies, honestly. You don't really need to spend that much energies. If you have Photon Boost, if you play Photon Boost early, you can pressure your opponent, as we said earlier in the deck review. You can pressure your opponent to kill off the Deoxys. If they do a boss on your Lumineon or Lugia, they got extra prizes, but they're gonna have to deal with Deoxys doing more damage on the next turn, right? because all you need is 2 more energies, 2 more Spiral or 1 more Fusion Strike and 1 more Impact to satisfy the attack cost for you to do Super Strong Slash for a massive knockout. With the boss Serena, you got another V knockout or an EX knockout on the next turn. Right after playing your Photon Boost and Cross Fist, you got big damage. You get to draw extra prizes with your Deoxys. So here comes Mesagoza. They're actually using it, which is a very annoying. Sometimes you get a Tails and your opponent gets a Heads and you're like, are you fucking serious? Stop it. Stop it, Mesagoza. Get real. I think we got a Heads though on our last turn. I'm not actually too sure. I wasn't paying attention. I was raving, like I was ranting about Sableye. Okay. Finally, the Mirage Gate is here. And Giratina is gonna finish off our... Are they gonna attack with Giratina though? It would be a waste. Honestly, because they have to lose their energies just to kill off the Deoxys. They can't play the boss anymore because they did Colrus. So what are they going to do right now? Probably the Cramorant. If they attack with Cramorant though, they don't have the knockout. Unless if they play a Vitality Band, which I don't think they have for the deck. It would be surprising if they play a Lost Box with Vitality Band. It doesn't work on Giratina, but it actually, it adds up for Cramorant. It doesn't add up for Lost Impact. So they got Beach Court for Comfy and Switch Card as well. Here comes Cramorant doing 110 damage to our active. Not quite enough for the knockout. We got 100 damage with Photon Boost, but we actually are forced to... Oh, we don't actually have the Archeops yet. How am I just realizing that? We have no Archeops in play yet. So, we're actually pretty slow in getting the V-Star for this game. And we can't search for our Fusion Strike energy, and that means we are not able to knock out the Cramorant for this turn. Unfortunately, because we need the Fusion Strike energy in order to hit for 160 damage. And since we have the Double Turbo and Single Strike, we're actually hitting only 80 damage for this turn. If we had a Rapid Strike, then we're actually doing 100 damage with the Deoxys. So we're just going to retreat to the bench and save the energy for us to play Super Strong Slash later on in the game. Conserving energy is still a big plus. We're just going to wait for Lugia VSTAR while hiding in the bench. Hide in the shadows. Oh my goodness. They did not do a boss on the Lugia. If they do a boss on the Lugia, it would be the end of us. I think they did a huge misplay there. If they just retreat to the Giratina and boss up the Lugia, then we got no Archeops for the rest of the game. We got no Archeops for the entire game and we're done. But we got the Ultra Ball immediately after they did the boss. And now we have to play our Summoning Star. Else it would be way too late. I think we discarded one of our Archeops on the last turn as well. So we just need to discard another one. I feel like we don't need the Single Strike energy because they're not playing that much HP for their Pokemons. We just need 300 damage, honestly, to finish off the Giratina V-Star with Super Strong Slash. So, honestly, Single Strike energy has no value for this game. We're just going to discard it. Here comes the V-Star. And we're going to play our Summoning for double Archeops. Because they actually helped us empty one of our bench. By knocking out the first Deoxys. If they kill the Lugia though, we got like 4 energies in play on both Deoxys, and eventually we would be able to attach enough energy, possibly. We have no Raihan though. Raihan doesn't work for special energy. We have no Elisa Sparkle, so I don't think it's that easy for us to play Super Strong Slash at some point in the game. It's honestly impossible if you got your V-Star knocked out early, so make sure you play Summoning Star as fast as you can. We got pretty unlucky for this game, but I feel like the deck isn't as consistent as the final version because this is kind of the first few experimentation. We're still going through the trial phase for this game, and we don't actually have the optimized deck list, and that's the reason we're not getting the right cards. So we don't have the right ratio, we don't have the right numbers of cards, and that's why we're not getting our evolutions, we're not getting our Lugia. Also, they actually played the beach card at the right time though to replace our Mesagoza. That could be you know, one of the reasons as well why we're not getting the V-Star. And we got another special energy from the prize. Oh well. So they are giving us a beach card, and we have one double turbo attached to our Lugia V-Star for the retreat cost. So if we put our Lumineon in the active on the next turn, we can retreat using the Stadium onto our second Deoxys. And we actually have our Arven to search for a Nest Ball with another tool card to play the Super Strong Slash. If they don't play a Judge right now, I feel like we're good for the next turn. They have to attack with the Giratina at some point though. When's it gonna be? Definitely gonna do another boss. We're just gonna put up the Lumineon, I guess. I don't think we can sacrifice our two prizes though. Should we? Should we just put a Lugia? I think we were actually trying to bait them to pull out the Giratina, because if we put the Venusaur, they're just gonna play the Cramorant and delay the game. So I feel like we had no choice but to put either the Lumineon or the Lugia just to bait them to get Giratina into play. And now we have Giratina in the active spot for us to finish it off with our Super Strong Slash, and we don't even need to bench the second Deoxys. Obviously we're gonna bench the second one right now, but I mean what I mean is we don't need to bench a new Deoxys and reattach the energy with double Archeops. We just need one Archeops for this turn, honestly. But are we gonna attach more energies on the second one though? Discarding all energies from the first copy means if your opponent play a boss on the next turn to kill off the bench Deoxys, you are losing even more energies in addition to the discard. So I feel like you should be only using Primal Turbo while you need it. You should use it sparingly, is what I'm trying to say. You shouldn't be using it every single turn as many times as you can. You should only use it when you need to. Because if you attach too many energies into play and discard it from your active, if you have no energies in your active and way too many on your bench, you could end up losing way too much energy if your opponent play a boss on your bench Deoxys. Or your bench Zeraora. But if we don't attach the energy though, if we don't play Primal Turbo for extra energies on this turn, we could end up risking them playing a boss on one of the Archeops and knocking it out to deny us the ability for enough energies to do Super Strong Slash in a single turn. But we got Photon Boost, so one Super Strong Slash is honestly enough for the game. If you're smart enough, you can play Photon Boost and Cross Fist to finish off the game, to win the game by drawing all the remaining prizes, using a single strike energy for the damage boost and using Cross Fist for an extra bench snipe. You got extra prizes and you got you know, big damage using your single strike energy as well, and denying your opponent from drawing extra prizes. If they kill a Deoxys, they're only drawing one prize. If they kill the Lumineon, you got, you know, another extra turn to attach more energies on the same Deoxys to do Super Strong Slash. I keep saying that, but it's kind of redundant. It's kind of the main value of this deck, and that's the reason I'm repeating it so much. Sorry about that. Here comes the goddamn Sableye. I can't stand it, guys. Look at that stupid thing. Look at that stupid thing. Placing damage counters like crazy for a one prize basic. But apparently they're not actually getting extra prizes with the Sableye. I'm only doing a single knockout. So I don't think they can win this game anymore without amazing Rayquaza in standard. Lost Box is not really that great anymore. Without all of those amazing rares, Raikou as well. Amazing Raikou hitting the bench for 120 is pretty insane. So if we have two Deoxys in play, they could actually do amazing... What's it called again? I'm not too sure. They could use amazing Raikou to draw two prize in a single turn. But now the only option for bench snipe they have is Greninja, doing Moonlight Shuriken for only 90 damage on two of your opponent's Pokemon. So we're just gonna play the Zera just because it's actually our finishing strike. We have no more Deoxys in the deck, I don't think. And we're forced to use Crossfist. If they do a boss, I don't think they have the knockout. Because 160 damage with Shred Giratina is not enough. They didn't manage to get the second V-Star. If they got the second V-Star though, they just need Star Requiem to finish off another V card to win the game. But they don't have any Giratinas on the bench right now, so I feel like we're pretty safe. Boss is crazy, right? And somehow, if you're playing a meta deck, you always get it at the right time. I have no idea how they managed to do that. Playing probably 3 copies of Boss and getting it exactly when they need it is just so fucking frustrating. I mean, it's the ratios. It's always the goddamn bloody ratios. But even then, I feel like it's still pretty lucky for them to get like Roxanne, especially Roxanne, at just the right moment. How do they manage to play Roxanne right after your opponent has 3 or less prize remaining? How do they not discard the Roxanne with a research? How is that, like, why have I never seen that happen? Fucking Roxanne. I don't believe it. Is it actually real? Is this game real? Unbelievable, man. Just because you play a meta deck, you're entitled to win the game without having to try? Are you fucking serious? So we got Archeops to do Primal Turbo, freely attaching our Spiral and Rapid Strike energy from the deck. And even if they play the Greninja or Cramorant to attack, we got a free knockout in the active anyways, because we're hitting for the weakness. So Crossfist is doing 200 damage on the Greninja, 200 on the Cramorant, and 100, which is enough on their Sableye, which they actually had to play on the last turn if they want to draw an extra prize. So we won against Giratina V-Star because they couldn't manage to get the second V-Star. We were actually not performing too well for this game because we couldn't get our Lugia evolved that early, which is kind of a huge liability. And eventually we added more cards to make the deck a lot more consistent, and now we can evolve a lot earlier. So sorry about that. That game was honestly one of the trial runs that we had to go through to make the deck a lot better. I have to show that game just because it's against a Giratina meta lost box. So they got a Greninja coin, which is looking so fancy. We got, what coin do we have? I'm not actually too sure now. Oh, we had the 2023 New Year coin. And we have our Snubble deck sleeve for to represent our Deoxys Psychic type. Psychic Fairy is not a fairy, but you know, it shares the same symbol as the fairy type, and that's the reason we're playing a fairy card sleeve. And we have Togepi to symbolize colorless for our Lugia V-Star and Archeops, which is not actually a normal type. You know, Togepi is a normal fairy, Lugia V-Star is not a normal type, but it's a flying. But they share the same symbol, so we're just kind of doing a crossover here. So now we're up against Mew VMAX with our Lugia V-Star Deoxys combo. And I'm just gonna leave you guys for silent gameplay now. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. We'll see you next time. Have a great day and bye for now, people. Enjoy life!